In this video posted by Clown World, it's a TikTok from Funny Marco. A black man wearing a Trump hat is confronted by some dude who gets in his face, starts insulting him, and then smacks the hat off his head. I want to play this video. It's only about 58 seconds long, and you can't really hear much, but I'll play it. So you got this guy. Let me put the headphones on so I can hear this better. The black man with the hat on says, "What's wrong with me supporting Trump?"
This dude is following this dude around Starbucks because he got on a Trump hat. Shit.
He says, "Tell me something and it sounds like he's saying he's done for us.
Getting real.
He's done a lot for us. And then the guy with the hat on says, "Look, man, it's just a hat." I'm paraphrasing because you can't really make out what they're saying. But let's jump ahead. Eventually, the guy says, "What are you going to do about it?" He says, "I'm not taking off my hat." And the guy rips it off his head and throws it on the ground. Let me do this first. What has Trump done for us? Abraham Accords. Crushing ISIS. Yeah, I know. You're saying, I don't live in the Middle East. I don't care about that stuff. These things can prevent war. Pulling our troops out of Afghanistan and Syria. I'm sorry, the deadline for Afghanistan. Joe Biden kind of screwed that one up. Getting our troops out of Syria. That's a pretty good one. Bringing some of our servicemen and women home. How about working to secure our border? Reinforcing problem areas on the border with triple layer bollard fencing. Not a big, beautiful wall from sea to shining sea. I'm sorry, but we got some secured, some areas secured. Maybe that's not good enough. How about bringing back manufacturing to Michigan? The auto manufacturers who invested $3 billion back in the area. How about the best numbers of our lives? So claimed Jim Cramer. And that guy's not got a good track record. Trump is not perfect. Trump did a lot of dumb things. Trump did not succeed in every direction. But to say he didn't do anything for us is insane. People were talking about 2019 making more money than it ever made. But here's the real point here. This guy's minding his own business. It's just some dude wearing a hat. Leave him alone. And sure enough, this Trump derangement syndrome guy walks up and basically attacks the guy. Look, I know, trying to be hyperbolic. All he did was rip the hat off his head. We don't know what happened after the fact. But the guy was just like, "I'm not taking my hat off. Leave me alone." And this dude gets in his face and rips it off his head. Yeah, nah. Bro, don't do any of that. That's crazy. Here's the real point. The New York Times. They published this June 10th. Trump supporters' violent rhetoric in his defense disturbs experts. The former president's allies have portrayed the indictment as an act of war and called for retribution, which political violence experts say increases the risk of action. Are you kidding me? April 2nd, 2023, Trump supporters attacked with skateboards at rally in Orange County. I'm not going to sit here and pretend there's never been any cross violence. Proud Boys have fought Antifa. Trump supporters have fought other people. But the tendency for those who pay attention is the far left attacks everyone else. So here you have a video. And let's just put it this way. Far left rhetoric and the corporate narrative is putting Trump supporters at risk. It's true. This guy, let's play this game, left. This is a black man minding his own business being attacked by a white man. Are you going to call this guy a Karen, get him arrested, get him fired from his job for attacking a black man? I didn't think so. They won't. Because it just so happens this black guy's wearing a Trump hat. These people claim that they oppose racism and all that stuff, but the reality is they don't care. They just want to use these issues. And I've experienced it all too well. Yeah, I know. I talk about it every so often. That I come from a mixed race family, south side of Chicago. But the reason I bring it up is to make this point. When I'm at Occupy Wall Street, and I'm just some random dude, they say, "Oh, but this is a perfect example, mixed race, high school dropout. That the American dream isn't working for you." 2 months later, cover of all these magazines or whatever, winning awards. And they say, "He's just some white kid with a silver spoon in his mouth." They lie and they use race issues to bait people. The left demagogues, they go to minorities and say, "That group of people is the real problem." Really? That racial group, that's what they do. The left goes to people and claim it white privilege and white people because they're creating a scapegoat. Does the quote unquote right? Well, it depends. Who is the right? Is the right conservatives? Is the right white nationalists? Is the right libertarians? They lump all of it together, even though all of these groups disagree with each other because they're lying to you. They want to say that there's a singular group of people for all your problems, and it's just not true. I love to bring this point up. Choose the group of people you hate, and you can figure out which group you belong to. Who do you think is responsible for all the wars? If you said the 1%, congratulations, you're an occupier. If you claim it was the Jews, congratulations, you're an anti-Semitic white nationalist type. And they make the same arguments. I'm not saying any one of these people are right or wrong. I'm saying they're all wrong for the most part. There is no one group of people, one trait to identify what causes problems in the world, because each individual is unique. I find it hilarious, especially with the anti-Semitic groups, when they're like, I'll keep it as dry and as academic as possible. Groups that are very critical of Jewish people. I'm like, dude, all you're doing is arguing privilege, and I don't care for that argument. It's meaningless to me. How come so many people in Hollywood tend to be Jewish? I don't care. I literally don't. Just meaningless. Because I've worked for media companies that were run by white Irish guys who were billionaires. And I think the guy who runs Bank of America is a white Irish guy. It's just nonsense. You come to me and say there's a collective group of people that's a problem, be it white privilege, be it the 1%, be it this race or that. I'm just like, get out of here with that stuff, dude. You're not solving the problem of cultural failures, cult-like ideology by targeting someone on an immutable characteristic. It doesn't do anything for me. And this is what we see with the left. What do they say? White privilege, the woke people. White privilege. They blame white people for all their problems. Yo, it's white liberals that overwhelmingly push these beliefs. So you know what? Fine. Maybe they're right because they themselves are causing all these problems but no, of course it's not true, because then you've got conservatives who don't agree with this. But white liberals, man, they push this crackpot stuff. They get violent. Look at this. It's a video of an anti-Trump guy attacking a black man. That's not okay. But it has nothing to do with race. Don't attack random people because he's wearing a hat. This kind of stuff is going to ramp up. And this is just the first step. This is the open door. In the next year or so, we are going to see more and more of it. Why? Because we saw it in 2015, 2016. We saw it in 2019, 2020. We saw it in 2021. And they keep putting out this narrative. They claim it's Trump supporters that are the bad ones. It's the right. Look, man, let me tell you a story. Some Proud Boys were hanging out in New York. Gavin McInnes gave a speech. Antifa surrounds the blocks around the building and harasses people. Eventually, people on the right say, screw that, and run towards them. Fight breaks out. People on the right, the Proud Boys filmed it. It was mutual combat, right? Still illegal. The police show up. Antifa flees. The police are like, give us your names. They're like, screw you, and they run away. The Proud Boys said, yes, sir, officer. Here's my name and information. Guess who's in prison? That's right, the Proud Boys. They got arrested and charged, and the cop said, well, we don't know who the Antifa guys are, so nothing we can do about that. Yep. See, the people on the right don't get the game that's being played. And y'all need to pay attention to exactly what's going on, because the machine is coming after people on the right. The DOJ is. The left is lying about it, accusing the right of being the perpetrators, when in fact, at the bare minimum, many of these circumstances are mutual combat. Bad, don't get me wrong, no one should be doing it. But the far left shows up to attack people, the fight breaks out, and guess who goes to prison? I'd be willing to bet the only reason this story doesn't result in the guy with the Trump hat getting arrested is because the left is scared of the racial connotations behind it. Because they only seek to exploit situations where they can feign being the victims. I'm concerned about what we're going to see after the winter. Things are going to get cold. They'll chill out a little bit. We're going to get into primary season in March or so. And the campaign's going to ramp up throughout the summer. We're going to see riots. There's going to be violence. Trump's the front runner. Trump's likely going to win. So you can only guess what the far left is going to do. All I can tell you, man, is I think it's high time people got away from cities, learn to be self-sufficient. And at the bare minimum, all I can say is if you're in a city, wear what you feel like wearing. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. This guy wants to rip your hat off and throw it on the ground, call the cops. Play that game. Have this person get arrested for assault and battery for doing that. cops might say, oh, who cares? You know, no, it's a hate crime. I wonder where this took place. That's the big question. I don't know for sure. If it's in D.C., it's a hate crime. But I fear we're going to expect more of this. So stay safe out there, man. And try to avoid conflict and confrontation because you don't want to get into a fight. The best, what do they say? The best way to win a fight is to run away. There's that old video where the martial arts guy is like the ultimate technique to winning at every fight. And then he gets in the stance. The other guy gets in a stance. And then he runs away wiggling his arms. And everyone laughs and claps. And he's like, you do not want to be in a fight. Because in the end, everybody just gets screwed over by it. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up tonight at 8 p.m. over at youtube.com/TimcastIRL. Thanks for hanging out. And I'll see you all then.